Welcome students, it's me Nabila, your English teacher. Take out your books of class 5. Today we are going to start our new chapter, new unit number 2. Does he remember? This is a new unit name. Unit number 2, does he remember? Okay students, today's story is about a pet dog. Pet dog Marmaduke. This story revolves around 3 characters: Mike, Nabil is a Mike friend, and a dog, Marmaduke. So let's get started our reading. Mike stood waiting at the garden gate. There was a padlock. Padlock is a detachable lock, and chain on the gate. It was firmly locked. On the wall beside the gate, there was a large round button. Above the button, there was a sign that said Bell. Mike had already pressed it once, but he now pressed it again. He had thought about climbing over the gate and entering the compound, but he knew that the large sign on the gate meant what it said: Beware of dogs. Below the lettering of this sign, someone had scrawled. Scrawl means written untidily, and lettering means letters written on something. They will have you for breakfast. Mike thought this was amusing, but he also knew that it might be true. Judging by the barking he could hear coming from the house, he was not going to take the risk and become. Turn your page number 16. Food for these creatures. Besides, he was now too old to be climbing over gates. Perhaps the dogs had heard the bell ringing again, or possibly they had sensed the prey, for the baying became more frantic. It was not a yell or a howl, but a deep throat and prolonged baying. Okay, creature mean makhluk, living thing, and frantic is a wild, highly excited pitch and tone. Prolonged, lengthy, baying howl. The animals were obviously hungry. Mike waited and mused about the old days. He shifted from one foot to the other, thinking about all the occasions he had visited this very house. The animals were obviously hungry. Next paragraph. Mike waited and mused about the old days. He shifted from one foot to the other, thinking about all the occasions he had visited this very house. Those were the good old days. Nabil was such a good company, and those dogs of his, they were little puppies then. How he had teased them! How time had moved on! He was an adult now. At last, just as Mike was becoming a little annoyed, an old man came scurrying out of the side door of the house. He appeared with his urgent shuffle to be hurrying, but he took forever to reach the gate. On this seemingly long trip, he searched all the while in one pocket after another. When he finally reached the gate, his smile indicated that he had found what he had been looking for the key to padlock. The old man fumbled with the keys and in due course opened the lock. The heavy gate squeaked and screeched as it was swung open with some difficulty. The old man stood to one side to let Mike in. He then used some effort to heave the gate shut again. It was apparent that the gate had not been opened in a long while. Mike waited for the old man to lock the gate. More fumbling, then he follow, followed him to the front door. The bang from the depth of the house reached new heights. Mike made sure to keep close to the old man, determinedly staying a step behind him. On entering the hall, Mike was shown into a large dark living room. The heavy curtains on the windows kept out the light, although it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon and there was bright sunlight outside. A table lamp in one corner emitted a dull glow that partially illuminated a small section of the room. Mike could just make out the figure of someone sitting on the sofa near the lamp. "Hello there, Mike," came a greeting from the shadowy form. "It's been many years." "Ah, Nabil, is that you?" asked Mike nervously. Turn on page number 17. "Yes," came the reply. The baying continued, but since there was no visible movement in the room, Mike was hopeful that the hounds were behind a secure door somewhere, but he was not completely convinced that this was true. Mike edged forward towards Nabil. "Wait there, Mike," said Nabil. "The dog has been locked in the bedroom, but old Marmaduke is asleep here beside me." "Marmaduke," said Mike. August stopped dead in his track. "The old Marmaduke, the dog I used to tease when he was just a pup." "Yes," replied Nabil. "You remember Marmaduke?" "Yeah, I do," shuddered Mike. "It's been a long time. I hope you have him on a leash." I remember, I used to worry him no end." "I don't think he will remember that far back," said Nabil. "He is old and blind now and likes to sleep. And by the way, no, he is not a leash." "Can you be sure?" asked Mike. "Sure of what?" asked Nabil. "That he is asleep. You can hear him snoring, can't you?" "No, no," whispered Mike. "Are you sure that he does not remember me?" Just then the snoring stopped abruptly. The dark form on the sofa stirred, a large head was raised, and two great nostrils sniffed the air loudly. Nabil and Mike did not make a sound. Okay, student, that's it for this video. We will continue our next page, page number 18, and comprehension we will cover up in our next video. See you again. Bye bye. Allah Hafiz.